What's going on, y'all? It's your boy No Credit, and I'm back again with another one. I need you guys to do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon for more videos like this. That being said, let's get into it. So, I recently just watched an interview from YSM Sports Media. It was an interview of Roy Jones Jr., and Roy Jones Jr. was asked about the great fights in 2024. You guys can listen to Roy. I could play some of what Roy Jones had to say, and then we'll dive in and talk about it, because I actually I'm acting like one of these people that just comment. I'm acting like one of these people that just comment I'm acting like one of these people that just comment without watching the video, because I commented. Because a lot of these YouTube channels, they do clickbait videos. And this was clearly a clickbait video from YSM Sports Media. But shout out to YSM. Because Roy Jones, he even went as far as breaking down the fight in context. Meaning like why the fight wouldn't make sense. And people try to ignore that. Why the fight wouldn't make sense. You guys are going to see what I'm talking about in a second when I play it. So we're going to go to YSM Sports Media page right now and listen to what Roy Jones had to say, and we're going to break it down. And then I'm going to read my comment that I commented without even listening to the video. Alright, so the video's about to play.
Especially last year, I feel like it was the best year of boxing. All the super fights happened in a long time.
So, first of all, let's address these reporters. These reporters are casual fangirls, a lot of them. And I think that's why they get approved. A lot of these reporters are casuals. This is why they get approved to go to the fights and cover the fights, because they don't want somebody that knows the sport of boxing to be over there covering the fights, because they're going to put a lot of pressure on these fighters. So they need guys like this, not YSM, the other dude that just said last year was the best year in boxing. Like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Roy Jones had to check him and say, in a long time, not the best year in boxing. Like, what, bro? Like, if you're going to say something, you got to know what you're talking about. But Roy Jones checked him and said, in a long time, not the best year in boxing. Like, what, bro?
What super fights are you looking forward to happening this year? I don't know.
Now, Better Beef versus Bivol. Great fight. Both guys proven. Let's keep going. Fury and Alexander Usyk, both guys proven. That's a great fight. Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury. Both guys proven. Both guys, has fought at the elite level. Both guys deserve to fight each other. Canelo versus Benavidez is a great fight. Benavidez is proven. He's been a world champion, one of the youngest world champions in the sport of boxing. He's defended his titles, and he's fought top competition back in and back out. He's not just sitting around waiting for Canelo Alvarez. He's trying to prove himself. So he's fighting legit competition, right? So that's a great fight. And he's a pay-per-view draw. That's what I was trying to say. But before we continue, I want to read what the title said. The title says, Roy Jones declared Terence Crawford versus Jaron Ennis. Canelo versus Benavidez as must-see for 2024. But he could have wrote that title a little different. You understand what I'm saying? Because Roy Jones also went into depth of why the fight doesn't make sense. Even though the fans want to see it, but it doesn't make sense on the part of Crawford. All the other fights make sense, but this one fight really doesn't make sense. We're saying right now that could be a great fight, but Ennis isn't proven. All them other guys Roy Jones is naming, those guys are proven. Those guys been world champion. Jaron Ennis, he's been elevated to be a world champion. He's never won a belt from anybody. He's never went out there and beat anybody to become a world champion. He got elevated. He put a petition in for Earl Spence, right? He put a petition in for Earl Spence, and the belt changed hands, and instead of Jaron Ennis, instead of the IBF restarting their clock, they applied the same petition that was put in for Earl Spence to apply to Terence Crawford. I just became a world champion. How you want me to fight this guy in 3 months? They should have restarted the clock once the belt switched hands. You cannot honor the same petition that was meant for a different fighter. It makes no sense, and it's bad for boxing. And the IBF dropped the ball on that one. You understand? So I jumped in the comment section. I said Roy Jones has to be trolling. One guy, Benavidez, has proven himself over and over. The other guy, Ennis, hasn't fought a top competition yet. The comparison is not even close. Oh yeah, Benavidez is also a pay-per-view fighter. Right? This is what I had to say. But let's continue, because Roy Jones is going to elaborate on what he said. So I commented without listening to what Roy had to say.
Right, yeah. Tank against top lightweights would be a great fight, or junior welterweights. Him against any of the top lightweights or junior welterweights would be a great fight. Crawford against Ennis would be a great fight. There's a lot of great fights out there. And some of them business-wise are not great fights, but sit up one side. Like, for instance, I'm sure Crawford would feel like, well, who's saying who's so good? Yeah.
Now, Roy Jones just said Crawford versus Ennis. It's not a smart fight business-wise. I don't know why people don't understand this. It's not that Crawford don't want to fight Ennis, but the fight isn't smart business-wise. A lot of y'all want to take a pay cut at y'all job. Why y'all want Terence? Because it's disrespectful at this point. Why y'all want this man to go from making 25 M to fight a guy who was still fighting on the Gervonta Davis undercard, who hasn't been a world champion, to take his active world champion, who had to put in a petition to get a vacant belt, who's not a pay-per-view draw, outside of the hardcore boxing fans. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just giving the facts. It may come off as disrespect, but I'm telling you, it's not disrespect. I'm just giving y'all the facts. You can't dispute what I'm saying. Outside of hardcore boxing fans, a lot of people don't know this guy. He's not a pay-per-view draw yet. He doesn't put himself out there. He doesn't go live on Instagram, Twitter. He's not active on social media trying to get his name out there. You got to get on social media, get on TikTok, get on all these platforms, and get your name out there to put yourself in position for these big fights. A lot of people saying, oh, these guys don't want to fight him. Because these guys know fighting Jaron Ennis, it's not a big money fight. It's not a big... So why should I fight a guy who, yes, from the eye test, he could be a great fighter. He hasn't proven it, but from the eye test, he could be a great fighter. So why should I get in a ring with a guy like that it's a lose-lose situation for me. I'm going to take, like, for example, he fights like a Cody Crowley or somebody like that. Well, maybe Cody Crowley would take his biggest payday against Jaron Ennis, but it's probably not enough to take a loss because I believe Cody is undefeated at this time. So he feels like it's not enough. Cody would rather fight a champion. Well, Ennis is a champion now, or maybe now it makes sense because he's a champion now, so the money's probably up now. Maybe now it makes sense, but I'm saying before he was a champion, right? Cody goes in there and fight Ennis. He's not going to get as much money as he's supposed to because Ennis isn't a big draw and he's not selling out stadiums like that. So Cody takes a loss. He has to start over and he doesn't make a lot of money in the process. He'd rather stay undefeated and keep his stock up than lower his stock. You understand? But it depends how you lose sometimes too, though. If you lose bad, his stock gets lower. But if he has a close fight, like a Karen, maybe his stock goes up. Because Karen, he gave Jaron Ennis a run for his money. He went 12 rounds with that guy, and Jaron Ennis couldn't drop him or hurt him. I mean, it is what it is. Roy Jones elaborated what he meant. But let's finish what Roy Jones had to say, and I'm going to give you guys my final thoughts.
And the undefeated fighters, who keeps the O the longest out of all of them?
Man, these reporters be asking some dumbass questions. But anyway, it's your boy No Credit, man. Roy Jones elaborated on what he said. He didn't just say, he said that's a great fight, probably stylistically, but it's not a great fight business-wise. And that's what and that's the message we're trying to get out there. You know, that's why a lot of people are saying Jaron Ennis needs to fight somebody. He needs to fight somebody to get his name out there, or he needs to get on social media and promote himself so he can sell out. Like Ryan Garcia, you know, he has a huge fan base, and he's only been on pay-per-view one time against Tank, and he hasn't really beaten anybody. You know, so that's the only time it's worthwhile when you fight a guy who has a huge fan base, even though he hasn't proven himself. Like Ryan didn't deserve a Tank fight, but because he has a huge fan base, the Tank fight was offered to him, right? I mean, it is what it is. Your boy No Credit, and I'm out.